Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Cinnamon Stitches. I am your yarn testing host, Jennifer. Today I have some new yarns from Herrschnerrs in the house that we are going to give the full rundown and review on. And the reason we're doing that is because I know a lot of us have been in this boat. You find a yarn that you love and you fall in love with it and you really like it, and then it gets discontinued. Or Joann's goes out of business and nobody picks up that yarn, okay? That's kind of where I'm at right now, okay? So before Joann's announced the second round of bankruptcy and that everything is closing and the whole world is ending with Joann's, they started releasing some really amazing yarns that kind of came, were released, and now they have disappeared off everywhere. There hasn't been even yarns similar to the yarns Joann's released before they went out of business, which is really jacked up that Joann's did that to us. One of those yarns, just one of them, and there's several, was the jelly bean yarn. Okay? This jelly bean yarn is beautiful. And also, when I worked it up, it's soft and squishy. It don't feel amazing in the skein, but when you work it up, it's really like squishy. Like squishy. It's squishy. I really fell in love with the jelly bean yarn. Specifically this blue and the red. And I did work up, I made my daughter a bag for her car that was like a little garbage bag that hangs on the back, which is a tutorial here on the channel called the Funshine bag. I really liked the yarn enough that every time I would see it during the Joann's clearancing out of the bankruptcy, I would pick up a little bit here and there because I really liked the colors. I liked the way it works up. I just thought it was pretty yarn. So this is what the jelly bean yarn looks like. Now, the one thing about the jelly bean yarn is most of the colorways that the red that's twisted around fluoresces. It's one of the things that really drew me to it, aside from the beautiful colors. So we have the black version, which was the color Cosmic Candy. And yes, that neon fluoresces in black light. I have Sour Blue Raspberry, and again, the thread fluoresces. And then this one is Sour Green Apple with the fluorescing thread around it. This yarn is a medium worsted weight number 4. It is 218.7 yards. And I really like this yarn. So when I saw this yarn pop up on Herrschnerrs, I grabbed it with the purpose of comparing the yarns side by side. You could tell by looking, they're not the same. The colors are very similar. So here we have the black with the rainbowy thread wrapped around it. This just happens to be fluorescent. And then this one is black with a rainbow thread that is not fluorescent. But you can see the differences. This is smooth. This is very, very fuzzy. It is two completely different yarns. So yes, totally disappointed in that. This one, which is the Krazy Kaleidoscope from Herrschnerrs, it's the Sundance yarn. This is way softer when you rub it this way. I don't know if it's going to be squishy because I have not, in fact, worked it up. But I wanted to do a side-by-side comparison, and looking at them, there is no comparison. These are two very different yarns. So the Herrschnerrs Kaleidoscope, it's still a worsted weight number 4. This says 92% acrylic, 8% polyester. This is 93% acrylic, 7% polyester. But just looking side by side, you can see there's not a comparison. The colors, similar. So the big twist comes in this shade of blue with a neon color wrapped around it. I don't know if it came in yellow. I don't remember, and I don't think I saw it with yellow. And I don't know if it came in purple. The colors that I have of the jelly bean are the black, the blue, the green. I have the red, and I have the white version, I believe. But I also know it came in And the red does not have fluorescent thread around it. It also came in neutrals. I don't like neutrals, so I didn't grab any of the neutrals. But I want to go to the table and work up a swatch of this so I can give my opinions, because this is very hairy feeling. Like it's got hair growing out from it. So we're going to go down to the table, and while I initially bought it to do a side-by-side comparison, seeing them in person, this is absolutely not a replacement for the jelly bean, but the colors are similar enough that if you are really missing the jelly bean, these colors will at least make you a little bit happy. All right, what size hook does this recommend? 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. That's a 4.5, 5.5. These are my dots hooks from WeCrochet. They're my favorite. All right, let's go down to the table. There is other yarn and things on my desk that I'm not going to move out of the way. So if you see yarn off to the side, that's why. But we're going to go work up a swatch, and I'm going to tell you how I feel it works up, how it feels worked up. We're going to test it for frogging. We're going to do a couple of different patterns and just see what the different stitches look like with the yarn and just get a general feel for the fabric. Let's go down to the table. All right. I think, well, we'll do the purple. We'll work up the purple. This is the color Purple Party. This one is the color Neon Lights. The yellow is Sun Rays. And the blue is Water Park. I'm going to work up. And one of the things I really love that Herrschnerrs does is a lot of their yarns, the center pull is hanging out for you, so you don't have to go digging for it. No idea why Ponyo is whining in the other room. The camera is kind of cocked to the side, a little bit cocked to the side. All right, so let's... My son's about to be loud. I sense it. Anyway, one of the things... She's what?
She's at the door. She doesn't know how the doggy door works.
One of the things I said I liked is that they generally have an easy center pull. Of course, it's going to tangle and prove me wrong on that. But I'm going to pull out enough that we can make a little swatch. And this says 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, but I feel like that's going to be too big, because you can't even see the thread hidden up in there. I'm going to grab, we're going to try it out the way they said. I'm going to grab a 4.5 and see what that looks like as well. So I'm just going to work up a swatch of like probably single crochets to start with. I don't know if, I almost did a magic ring. I don't know if the reason they're saying to use a 5.5 millimeter is so that the hairy bits on here, which in some places is way stronger, so those don't get matted down, but this yarn is thin, and I just feel like this hook is too big. And even right now, it just feels like it's too big. It feels like it's going to be gappy looking. No, we're going to do half double crochets because that's my favorite stitch. I don't know why. I just like half double crochets. So one of the things you will see with yarns, one of the ways that they determine either size of yarn or how they determine what hook size you should use is they will take into consideration if there's fur or fluff or something on the outside of the strand of yarn. And sometimes that will classify a really thin yarn as a bulky 5-weight because they take into consideration they don't want you to mat down the fur. And I don't think that I would use a 5.5 millimeter with this because it feels kind of gappy. But I'm going to leave it up to, oh, see, that's not so bad. See, it feels gappy, but it looks, sometimes I don't have all the answers. It looks nice. And it doesn't feel all gappy. Maybe they had the hook size right. Maybe I was wrong. 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. Yeah, I tangled it. I tangled it. This actually reminds me a little bit, not as fuzzy as the Krazy cat fur yarn that I got from Hobby Lobby clearance a couple years ago, and I made a hat. Just because it had the rainbowy fluffiness around it. But that yarn was like really, really furry, whereas this is not. It is slightly furry. And this feels really good working between my fingers because it has like that cool slickness that some yarns have, where the temperature of the yarn feels kind of cool, but also like it feels almost silky. Alright, so it's a little gappy. It's pretty though. It's definitely pretty. I really like the rainbowiness on it. Let's do another couple rows. I really want to get a feel for what it works up like with this bigger hook. I just swallowed so loud and I don't know why, so if you heard that, I'm sorry. I had a little bit of a dry throat this morning. I slept with the AC on last night even though it was chilly outside. And I woke up kind of with a sore throat. I keep putting my arm on the yarn. So I can kind of see why they use a 5.5 millimeter hook. Would I use a smaller hook with this? Probably. But also I like, it's got a really nice drape to it with the bigger hook. And it's looking a different shade of purple on camera than it actually is. And that's typical with cameras and phones and stuff. They will often take shades of blue and pink and adjust them. And I don't even know if adjusting my light will help. Oh, that did in fact help. That's more accurate to the color purple that it is. I just need to make my light yellow. I'm going to do one more row like this. This yarn is soft. Like, it feels really good. This is the kind of yarn you want to like unwind with at the end of the day. It doesn't feel splitty at all to me. It just feels soft and silky and lovely to my skin. And just like I have sensory issues to where I can't touch some things, I also have sensory issues to where some things feel just really extra nice to me. And I will just sit and rub them for a long time, like yarn. Some yarns. Alright. Come on, let go. The inside is definitely giving me issues. So this might be a center pull, or not a center pull. Yeah, it might be a center pull nightmare. Or it could be I just got a bad ball. That's why we have the yarn pendulums, so we can change it up if we so wish. An outer pull. Alright, so that's 4 rows of half double crochet. It feels really nice. It's got like a soft fuzziness to it. And not even fuzzy. It just feels nice. Like you feel the silkiness to the yarn underneath the fur. And it's absolutely furry. It's not long fur, and it's not fur that I feel like will tangle, but it's really pretty, and I really, really like the colors. All right, does it frog? Seems to frog pretty well. All right, now, let's see what this looks like with like shells, right? Because some yarns are best left in a simple stitch, and some work up beautifully in shells. I really like this yarn. I have no idea what I'm going to make with it, but I really, really like it. I'm also curious, will this work out beautifully with knitting? Because this would be a soft, squishy hat. 3, 4, 5. Three, 4, 5. I'm just doing stacked shells. It's really nice. I like this yarn. I'm glad I bought it. It is absolutely not the jelly bean yarn though. It's not. There is nothing similar aside from the colors. And I did have one person reach out to me in the Facebook group that she said this is much, much softer than the jelly bean yarn, and I would tend to agree with her. It's not squishy like the jelly bean yarn. I mean, if you worked with a smaller hook, it might have a different fabric feel to it. Come on. Alright, so I think the busyness of the yarn, the shells get lost. So if I were to do something with this yarn, I would probably just do a simple stitch because you're going to lose any kind of lace in there. It's just, it's a busy yarn. It's really soft though. Right now, I want to pull out some knitting needles. See if I can find my knitting needles I had the other day. The one thing I hate about Chalgu is I can't ever see whatever size that is. Yeah, that'll work. Alright. I'm just going to frog back. I'm going to do a little tiny knit swatch. Now I do knit Russian style, so I don't want any complaints on here because every time, I swear, every single time I knit on camera, somebody's like, why do you knit like that? Why do you knit through the back loop? Why do you do that? Because that's how I knit, okay? Just chill out. Stop being the what do you call it? The knit police. Just casting on. I think that was 20. I believe. Whoop. Come on, calm down. Calm down. Simadonna, Simadonna. Yep, I screwed up. That was the wrong way. I forgot. I have to purl the first stitch or knit the first stitch differently. I forgot. It's been a long time since I knit back and forth. I usually knit hats. And I have to, I don't know if you know this, when you knit back and forth, you have to, well, when you knit this style, and I had to learn this through trial and error, I have to wrap the yarn around the hook differently depending on how I'm knitting. So if I'm knitting in the round, I have to grab the yarn differently than if I knit back and forth. Otherwise my stitches get twisted. And I used to get yelled at all the time by 8,000 people on the internet. you're twisting your stitches, but nobody could tell me what I was doing wrong or what I could do to fix. Like, not a single knitter could tell me what I was doing wrong, because nobody knits like I do, apparently. And then one day I happened upon a video. She was talking about Russian knitting, and I was like, oh, I knit like a Russian. And then, like, everything made more sense to me, and then I was able to figure out what I was doing wrong on my own, and it was glorious. It was glorious. And now I can do all the things without horribly twisting the yarn. Oops. Come on. Come on. There we go. I also don't have my proper eyeglasses on today, so I'm struggling with my vision real bad. And I'm also knitting with my arms out away from my body, so I'm really fumbly. And I also, my hands have the shakes really bad lately. Past couple weeks, my right hand specifically is jittery real bad. And right now it seems okay. But some days it's been real bad. I think my central nervous system is trying to shut down. It's like, no, we're not doing this anymore. You need to go sit down and calm down. So, please don't judge my knitting. That's all I'm telling you all that. Please don't judge my knitting. Because I really do like knowing what stuff works up knit. Because as soon as I started working this up with the crochet, my first thought is this would be beautiful in a knit hat. Because it would be soft against my face. It is a little bit splitty for me with knitting, whereas it's not splitty at all with crochet. And I definitely feel like I need smaller knitting needles. Let's see. 4.5 millimeter needles, but a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. So while I thought this would be better with knitting, I actually enjoyed crocheting it more. But if you are a knitter specifically, that's what we're here for. We're going to do a little swatchy swatch. We're going to hang out while I ridiculously slow knit. I knit really slow. Don't get me wrong. I can knit fast. If I'm sitting back and I'm chilling and I'm watching TV or something, I can knit without looking at my hands, and I can knit about as fast as I crochet on a good day. But today's not one of those days. I would like to know, I have a question for you guys in the description box. What is your crafts? What can you do? Now, I don't care if you're good at it or not. Can you knit? Are you only a knitter? Do you crochet? Are you bistitchual? Can you knit and crochet? I consider myself to be not trisexual. Oh my god, I almost said that. Trisitchual. Trisitchual is the word, Jen. I dropped a stitch right there. I am trisitchual in the fact that I will try anything. I am a crocheter. I am a knitter. I love spinning my own yarn. That is one of my favorite things. I can weave and do macrame. And I have enjoyed both of those arts. And needle felting. But my love, my true love is crochet. And I knit every once in a while when I get the urge. Because I fought really hard to learn how to knit. It took me 2 full years to be able to actually make something that didn't have holes. And I really, really struggled for 2 years to just get the basics of knitting, because I've never seen anybody to this day. I've never been in the same room with someone who is a human who is knitting. I've never sat with a knitter. I've never talked with a knitter like that. And so everything I learned, I had to learn through videos, and because nobody holds their yarn the way I do. Nobody knits the way I do. I even have a really hard time with knitting tutorials because I have to try to translate what they're doing to the way I do it, because most people don't knit through the back loop like I do. Most people don't hold their yarn like they're crocheting like I do. My brain just doesn't like doing the throwing where I wrap the yarn. To me, that slows it way down. I can't stand throwing the yarn. That's when you do the wrap. To me, that seems so inefficient. But also, I've only ever crocheted until I learned to knit. And so I look at it like this. I knit like I'm a crocheter. Like I hold my yarn the exact same way with knit and crochet. And that's okay, because I know some crocheters that throw their yarn. Drives me crazy, but I don't criticize them. Because I'm not in their body. I don't understand how their brain works. Alright, so it's okay with knit. I prefer crochet. I just feel like you lose some of the color. And this is knit back and forth. So it doesn't look the same as if I had a flat fabric, but I just feel like I prefer it crochet. Personal preference. You may love it if you knit with it. So check this out. This is the Sundance Crazy Kaleidoscope yarn from Herrschnerrs. This cost me, where's my receipt? Crazy Kaleidoscope. $3.99 a ball for 202 yards. So you could definitely make a hat out of one ball for $3.99. It is really soft. I really like it worked double crochet. It's not horrible with knit, but I felt like it was just, it wanted to split a little bit, and it lost some of the color texture from when I crocheted it up. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you have enjoyed this yarn review of the Sundance Crazy Kaleidoscope and understand that it is not at all the jelly bean yarn. I'm not affiliated with Herrschnerrs. They don't know I'm making this video. I purchased this with my own yarn money, and it is a 100% honest review, like all of my reviews of all yarns of all times. I always aim for honesty and transparency with everything that I do on this channel. And that's why I tell you these things, because most people don't care, but I care. So with that, I will let you go, and I will see you in the next one. I will link these below in case you're interested, in case you want to try them out for yourself. I'm not an affiliate for Herrschnerrs, and I don't make any money if you order them, but if you're interested, I will still link it so it's easier for you to find, so you don't have to go searching. I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.